the connective tissue. Sorry. They're the connective tissue in an organization.
Mm-hmm.
And if we use AI properly, then there's even more connective tissue, which is massive and really, really, really so useful, and things can move so much smoother, never mind faster.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so as a like out of your move, and so here I want to like I loved that. It's like we are around the campfire. It's like around the campfire. I love that. Like that. That
Mm,
is something I do when I can all the time. It's like there's just something in a campfire.
mm, mm,
There's something in that fire that takes us back to the beginning. It's like how long have we been gathered around campfires, around fires? Like one of the greatest innovations or control of nature was fire.
mm,
And it's not that we controlled it, but we have grown to the illusion that we can control it.
mm,
And then we're reminded we can't.
mm, mm.
It's like Mother Nature. Like Mother Nature reminds us, the climate reminds us that we are just part of it.
Mm, mm. It goes back to, for me, the understanding and the clarity, I think, more than anything else, that when that we benefit from so much, if we have that clarity of where am I in this, and what is this, and what am I, and where are those connecting points.
Yeah.
And if we get clarity about that, and then we explore the connections, for me, that's so much of what expansion is about.
I'm going to say we're willing to explore the silos.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
what we've done is we've isolated everything into silos that have no connections, that have no bridges together. And that is not a meaningful life.
Mm, mm,
From our experience, when everything's separated, it's not a satisfactory life because it's not whole.
mm, mm,
It's missing something. And that's it. It's like as we miss something, we're so entrained that we do something and we get it. So it's like do, have, do, have, do,
mm,
have.
mm,
But we forget that we are energetic beings.
mm.
And and how do we know? It's like, I mean, do you go around questioning whether your neighbor is human?
Mm.
Oh my God, my neighbor is human?
Right? It's not really a concern that we walk around. I mean, even with our enemies, it's like across that border, it's not like, oh, I wonder if they're human. It's like, oh no, they're just an earlier version of human, right? That's what we say about other people. They're just not as mature as I am. And we never look at the people that are maturer than we are, right? That's never possible usually in our world, unless we experience some humility.
Mm.
Now, shit, someone's gonna say, "Oh, I experience humility, so then I am I do that. It's not me. I don't do that." It's like, yeah, we do. We're just not aware of it. So, like, what do I celebrate is the more I become aware, like opens up, the more I don't know.
Yes. Yes. And the more
And
wonder there is then, right, Jesse? Your word,
that's,
wonder.
well, yes, you can open the door into wonder, and you can open the door into finding the answer. You can open the door into whatever your automatics are to see the world from an attached perspective and a separated. So it's like those things we can listen to and be like, oh, not judge, but just see where the help can be.
Yes.
And the word that we use for that is serving one another. So it's like around the campfire, we are learning how to serve one another.
Mm.
Yeah.
And to be open to wonder is not judging.
Thank you.
Exactly, Chi. Exactly. There's so much of the essence of appreciation in that word, wonder.
Mm. It's all full of wonder.
Mm.
Wonderful.
How
The
in
word of
yours,
yesterday.
how is wonder different from curiosity?
Mm.
Mm.
There's more for me, there's more of an emotional element to the word
Wonder.
wonder. Yeah, than
Wonder.
to
Sorry.
curiosity. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I would just say wonder has more depth.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah. Good one, Hans.
The ego is more curious, while
Yes,
your
exactly.
it's your whole body that's wondering about it.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yes.
definition.
Yes.
There it is. It's the ego is curious. The heart is wonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. My answer yesterday to that question was, well, with curiosity, I get that people are questioning others because they are right.
But you're always right, Jesse. So how could they be right at the same time?
Right? That's what I'm curious about.
Oh,
See, everyone should want what we got to be around the campfire.
Yeah. Hmm.
But because they can't see how well we've got it.
Hmm.
well, a few people see it because I see on YouTube that there are actually more people, I think it's 17 or 18 sometimes, that have looked at it. So more and more people are getting curious about it. Maybe they've
Yes.
started to wonder about what is it they're getting out of this.
Yeah. I think so too, Hans.
Yeah.
And sometimes I also remind myself that it's about the intensity of something, not so much about the quantity.
It's
Mm.
it's the awareness, right? The awareness. The awareness says whatever pops in is what is of importance.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So I was thinking, I was reading this, and it was like we can. What did I think? I was reading an article around. They fully DNA'd a 10,000-year-old skeleton, right? To see, like, and now they're beginning to like see how, like, where the origins, right? And they're like, if you think about it, the origins there's so much missing, right? They're filling it in with these tools, science, AI, right? The computing powers. If you think about it, they're filling in history, and it's like they're following the DNA. Well, now we have the internet to store all of it. It's like now they will be able to look back and follow our brain signals, our
Wow.
voices, our tones. It's like we are leaving our DNA signature for the future.
Mm.
Mm.
Think of that. It's like, and it's all connected. It's like fascinating.
Mm.
And yes, it's not like we are the only ones that are doing something important here or something that matters, but it's the one thing that I'm involved in, right?
Yeah. And that's all that you can, what am I going to say? What am I meaning to say? It's all that we can do. It's not all that we can be, but it is all that we can do is what we're involved in. But,
Hmm.
yeah.
And you
We're
sound
just
a you sound a long ways away now, Allison. So something changed. That's okay. That's okay. It was hard to hear you.
Oh, sorry.
That much better. Thank you.
yeah, we're just leaving our footprint. YouTube.
Hmm. No, we're leaving our voice print.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's a huge big thing because that's a vibration, right?
Yeah.
That stays in that place forever.
And my first thing was, he can't. He can't stay there forever, surely.
Mm.
That's what they're trying to do with history, but history is not us. It's not our story.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
Our
and it
story is
is.
mystery.
Yeah. And it is, and we don't have to accept it. We can make new ones. It's like
Right.
that's there's it's like attached, right? I can be attached to the past, to the history,
Mm.
Mm.
to the way things have been, right? And in reality, when we pause and look at that, that is not a very good place to start.
Nope.
Hmm. Yeah, it is in survival, right? Like
Mm.
when the tigers are going to jump out of there and get you, right? Or like when security's threatened. So like 100 million, like everything but the last 100 years in America, as I know it. So like our development can't keep up with that rapid change.
Mm. It's
And
interesting.
we're working in like the invisible space. Whoa, the mind, that we're using 1%.
So Jesse, as you said that, what came to mind for me in terms of us not being ready, so that our bodies evolve much more slowly in many ways than what society really understands. But from what I know, you can what's the word I'm looking for? You can lead your body to the kind of quantum change that would and that could match the change in technology
Yes.
and actually supersede it
Yes.
even.
Yeah.
And yet as in the world, what we have allowed to dominate has been way more the curiosity of the world than the wonder in the world and of the world.
Mhm.
Because if we followed that wonder, we would respect the body so much more. And I mean, what we've got in technology, we could have in the practice of imagination.
Yes.
It would be such a different world.
Mhm. We're just starting to become aware of the disruptance that technology is having. So what's happening is the old structures and the new structures are stretching. They're getting farther apart.
Yeah.
Right. That's what causes the stress.
Yeah.
Right. Old structures, new structures. Right. And so it's like that attachment to the old way of doing it. Right. Like unless the AI, the technology allows to get farther out, like ahead, quote, if you will. But if we always take that position, we're always going to be behind it. And rather than giving our power to it, is that we use it as a powerful tool as it's meant to be.
Mm.
So
There's
it's still
more
the same
part of
structure. It's still the same structure that's taking place. It's just, are we going to orient to it the same way, or are we going to orient to it differently?
Yeah, and for me also, the question is then, are you allowing it to become a part of you, or are you standing apart from it?
Yeah. Yeah. And tough decisions have to be made in the transition.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, if we look at some Good Morning, Annette.
Yes. Good morning, Annette.
Good morning. Good morning. I would just like to say it is a great morning because
Yes.
it's somebody's birthday today.
Yes.
Happy, happy, happy birthday wishes to you.
Thank you, Annette.
You're welcome.
Honored to be with you, all of you. Yeah, so we're kind of we're around the campfire, so welcome. And it's like, oh, the topic around the campfire this morning is, well, it's gone many different ways. But it's like celebrating what have we learned? Like what's different over the last year? Like where are we? And so that's kind of the scope this morning that we're discussing. And the thought I was going to is like we've been in the AI transition with humanity, right? It's like these things coming together. And I mean, if I look at the Eastern Seaboard, the port workers went on strike. And one of their demands is that they can't bring in AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They want like a 70% increase in wages, and you cannot bring in any AI. And it's like, my point to that is that they're fighting this, thinking they're going to win,
Yeah, that's a losing battle. I
right?
mean,
It's like how obvious. It's like, okay, now we could put rules on it, right? Like new jobs, yes, new things, I can have AI. But yes, there are some things that we need to protect for a certain period of time, and it's the promises that were made originally.
yeah,
Do those two things together because they're going to need AI to pay for it.
yeah,
So it's like we think we're doing something good from our one perspective, but we don't ever look at the other perspective because everything is separated. That's what it's like. Like we're still hunting and gathering.
oh, yeah, oh, yeah,
We're still fighting for our territory. We're fighting to be right. Man, yes, that was fine when there was no information available.
But Jesse, these folks might observe it as it's becoming a desert. And if AI takes over, their career opportunities become like the landscape of a desert.
yeah,
It
Because
does.
if
It
more and
does.
more,
It's coming.
yeah,
It does.
so what are they going to do for income? They then have to rely
Exactly.
on the government, and then the government gets their plans put in place and control everybody.
Oh, yes. And it's like, well, each of those workers learn how to bring AI into their job. That's how they do it. And so
yeah,
they're learning along the way so that they can keep up with the AI that's developing, right? So they're getting their skills. What they're saying, what they want is, no, I don't want to use this tool. I just want to manually work like we've always done it.
yeah,
The
yeah,
resistance to change.
It
yeah,
is. It's
Or
that old. Yep.
adaptations. It's
Yep.
like they have a ball in a box, that the ball is their life,
Yep.
and the box is the expanse of their life. And what they don't know is that the ball can stay the same size, but you can expand the box,
Mhm. Yep.
and the ball is still there. It's still the same size,
That's right.
but you just can work with other things in that same box.
Yep. Yep. And as we talk about them, like they are in their situation out there, we are all in that situation in our own places.
Mm.
Like we've got a
absolutely.
little ball inside of a little box, and there's places in our life where our box is too small,
Yeah,
and we're holding on to like that, like the way it's got to be. See, that's the importance of the attachment, the awareness of the attachment. Oh, I'm attached to fighting. When I get kicked out of the nest and I got to learn to fly, my automatic is to fight. Well, yeah, because then you're going to fly or you're going to die. Like that's the point of getting kicked out of the nest. Does your mom love you or hate you because she threw you out of the nest?
mm.
You're going to make up what story you want on the way down. It's not going to help you.
She
AI
wants
is
you
that
to die.
AI is like a tool,
Yeah,
tool
that's all it is that we've
for
created to
harnessing
use.
energy, and then energy. There's always the duality. When I did use it for something benefiting for all, or
Mhm.
suppressing all.
Yep. Yep. Everything has both those sides, right? It's like,
Mhm.
like at some point we've got to stop picking up that end of using it for destruction
Yeah,
at some point.
exactly.
And I mean, that's a transition, right? It's a
Yeah.
human evolution.
And in the beginning, people were afraid of internet and computers, but now we are benefiting from it, yes, in many ways.
Exactly, G. Yeah. And electricity.
Electricity and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Everything, everything. I mean, you know, people were afraid to buy Amazon stock from Jeff Bezos.
Mm.
Oh,
When they launched the company, right? I mean, I don't remember the story specifically, but there was like even his family turned him down. I mean, they probably, and then you hold on to that, right?
Mm.
Like if I would have done that and because I would have said no. The internet? Oh no, you're crazy. The internet, like the internet, that's not going to work,
It's just a phase.
right? Do you see how I like said no and didn't go into any depth? That is the danger. That's the
Yeah.
danger of those attachments, because we just assume that they're whole, that they're complete, that they're right, and we attach to them without looking at what we've already attached to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
people keep they get stuck in their misbelief and they can't look outside of.
we
If they
create
accept something wrong, that's right. Yeah.
we create everything, whether we like to admit it or agree with it or know it, but we create everything. So if whatever we're creating in our life is what we're wanting to create. Now, we may not want it, but it is what we're creating. So it's like, well, which one is it then? And if you aren't creating it, then who is? And right there, you're giving your power away.
Mm.
So automatically, right? So automatically the attachment is somebody else is going to tell me what to do. And it's like, oh, yeah, we know how that works out. Oh, but I'm creating this chaos and misery and dysfunction in my life. Yeah, that's your insanity that you can't see.
Yep.
That's your automatics. That's your attachments. You can't see them. You think you're right. You think you're fighting for the right thing. No more AI.
Yeah. God, that would be like an expression that we had in South Africa. That's like pissing against the wind.
It is. And you just see them digging their heels in deeper, and it's like that is such a ridiculous claim. We want you to, you're just increasing the cost of your employer well past the point they don't need you. Yes, in the short term they do, but there will be a transition that's going to be costly. And those that stay the same the longest are going to get hurt the worst. That's the structure.
But it's interesting what's interesting to me also with that, Jesse, is that claim, about 70% increase and no AI is there because of the previous experience of being so abused in the workplace. So that's the only way that those thought structures could think of. It's the only thing that those thought structures could think of in the way of protection. But if there had been a more collaborative and co-creative experience in workplaces, then people, could come up with more collaborative solutions.
Yes, it's never been encouraged
Yeah,
because it's the power's always been localized, and the internet like gave everybody the same information.
yes,
So the environment is always changing.
yeah. It is always changing, and yet it doesn't change.
They made it tough for us because the power is always hiding the truth, or try to
Ah,
hide it in front of our face.
well observed.
Yes,
Like
because
that.
when they, what they call history, it's just something that they made up. There's there's been civilization long before the written history.
Yeah. So, Chi, can I ask you, because you have been so clear this morning,
Hmm.
especially, um, what do you think would be? So, let me first check with you. Do you know the term organizing principle?
Organized principle. You can
Yes.
you walk me through faster?
Okay, so did I get it right? You understand what I mean
Yes,
in English?
I
Okay,
can
great.
comprehend
Okay,
the word.
great.
Yeah.
So, what would be the organizing principle of that truth, do you think?
Oh, it is. Yeah. Let me think. Organized principle. Yeah. The, the, the truth should be expressed in all ways, shape, or form. And throughout all our life, and it has to be reflected in society. As truth is the highest. We have to nurture it. We have to practice it. We have to have that. We lost so many things.
Mm,
This industrialization,
mm,
all the
mm.
value, all the. So maybe go back to the roots. Yeah,
To go
yeah.
back to
We
the
have to
root
learn
of what.
from the past. Yeah, the truth is always the truth. You
Mm,
cannot suppress the truth. The truth is for everybody.
mm,
Love
mm,
is the highest.
mm.
But how to organize it, organize principle, it has to be felt. It has to be practiced. It has to. We have to teach our kids about it. And, I don't know if I'm rambling. It doesn't make
Mm-mm.
any sense.
No, 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 that was all very relevant, I felt.
Here, let me share my assessment. Um, Chi, what I'll notice is Allison's awareness to your clarity,
Yeah, right.
aka your voice.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
We started the week. The beginning of the week
yeah,
was you were looking to like you wanted to find your voice. It's like
yeah,
this is what that is for
Mm,
you.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like people are seeing it. Now they weren't in the
yeah.
connection, like they weren't in the experience you and I had to be able
Yes,
to see it, but you and I can.
mm,
And anyone can go back and watch it too, right?
mm.
And be like, oh, that is what happened.
yes.
Wow.
What
And look, now they have their proof.
mhm. You took
People
me
are
back
looking,
to the root cause of what was blocking my voice.
what was that?
No, you took me back to the root,
Yes.
to the root cause of what was blocking my voice.
Yeah. And what was blocking it?
And it's something that happened, where I was experiencing. you know, something very traumatic. You know, I lost. I lost something. You know, it was grief. You know, grief of something that happened in the past. But you walked me through it, and but it unlocked. You know, and but you know, letting go. You know, and not carrying around. You know, this energy
Mm.
of
Yes,
being hurt, being
that's right. And it's like, what's it like when it's gone?
yeah. I got my voice back. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, you can hear it in my
Was there a
I'm
parade?
sorry,
Was there a parade?
parade. Yeah,
Did they like,
internally.
was there like did you get to do a ceremony? You know, it was like
Mm.
they had a parade for Chi of Chi's letting go, finding his inner self, reconnecting with his innocence, his childhood, introducing himself back to his inner self, and like, oh, coming together as one voice, as a whole voice. It's like there wasn't a
Yes,
parade for you?
Mhm.
yes, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah. Well, we're throwing one now for you. How about that?
yeah, but you know, I'm in a situation now, you know, where you know everything is chaos around me, you know, but still
Mhm,
I feel a sense of calmness inside
mhm.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
because I found my
wonderful.
voice, you know. Yeah.
And it
So
is
yes,
there is so much going on around you. It's like, oh, and always has been. She like not. It's just
but
a.
I couldn't. There was some blockage, you know, because I was
Yeah.
doubting myself, you know, and judging myself and all that, you know. With the session with you, you know, I couldn't I could you know let go of all of it, you know, and then yeah, all
That's
the
so
old
amazing.
pattern.
We just
Congratulations.
yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just honor your voice. And with that, good morning, Mona.
Oh,
Morning, morning,
Mona's
morning,
here
Annette.
too. Hi, Mona.
Hey, Mona.
She
Good for
came in a
you.
while ago. She may have had to go on mute,
Yeah.
but I wanted to acknowledge her.
Thank
Good morning, everybody.
Yay! There she is. What a spark! Look at that spark. Now
Hey, Mona.
it's been a long time since she's found her voice, and man, it's just getting stronger.
you.
Good morning, Jesse. I understand it's your birthday, so how young are you?
Mm, not much young, not younger. That's for sure. Not young.
Now, that's all in your head. You know that.
Yeah, I do. I do. Running out of time. That's what's in my head. Running out of
Well,
time with way too much to do.
I think it's great we're having a parade and a birthday party all in one.
Yes.
all around the campfire. All around the campfire.
I just want to say, Chi, this is the most powerful expression of words that you've had that I've heard from you. And it was just so wonderful to listen to. I'm listening to you and I'm getting a smile that was getting bigger and bigger and bigger because I could sense your strength and your confidence and everything that goes with that. It was just like, wow, you know, and you even said, I have basically, I'm going to, you know, doctor a little bit. I have transformed. I have changed and this is who I am now. And I recognize who I was then. And that's an important part of me, but this is me now. And that is so cool. It was nice. Yes, a
Yeah.
parade. Awesome.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, this wonderful group. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful group.
Mm.
Wow.
We co-create,
Yes,
you
absolutely.
know, and
Hmm.
it's an
That is the
amazing
magic of
energy.
life. That is the magic. That's the magic, is the co-creation, like to bringing it together, the pieces, putting them together from unlikely places. Now it's only unlikely because we've put other structures in place.
Yeah.
The power of the campfire.
Yeah,
Mm.
it is. around a campfire. I think that might be our marketing
Mm.
name of the channel. Something around the campfire, like campfire chat, something like that. It's more than chat.
Check in.
Chat.
It's
Yeah.
exploring. Exploring the fire within and without.
Yes.
Mhm. I like that.
Oh, we'll have AI summarize a few things for us from ideas that we would call this daily gathering where we can share without judgment. We can learn, feel like we can really be in a space of our power. And that's like, have fun with it. It's like as joyful as being around the campfire with others. So AI, go to work on that. Thank you. See what it comes up with.
Mhm.
Don't forget the s'mores.
That's right. You got to have the s'mores. That's the dessert, right? It's like the parade and the dessert and the celebrations. It's like birthday cake because I do
Yeah.
like my s'mores. Now, do you have your s'mores with Hershey's?
Of course.
Have you had it with a Reese's? If you like
Oh,
Reese's
no, I've
Pieces,
never had it with Reese's, but that sounds like it would be good.
oh boy, yeah. It's a lot more chocolate. It's a lot sweeter. Let's put it that way.
I would agree with that.
So, like I bring in for me this morning is attached to wonder.
Mm.
How are we doing? How well are you attached to wonder? How often are you attached to wonder?
Mm.
Is it your automatic?
Can you get attached to wonder?
It's like
Wonder
in
is
order to see
always
miracles,
open
we
for
have to believe in
possibilities.
miracles.
Sorry, Heinz, go for it.
Wonder is always open for possibilities. So can you actually get attached to wonder?
Mm. I know when I'm not. Well, better yet, I don't know when I'm not, and I spend a lot of time not attached to wonder. So it's like, oh, that's the practice I can be in. But at the end of the day, if that's what I want is wonder, then I become aware. I practice being aware when I'm not and when I am. Now, Chi, thank you, Heinz. Chi, what would you say?
Oh, yeah, I was just saying that in order to experience miracles, we have to believe in miracles.
Yes.
So we have
Mm.
to shape our belief, around love,
Yeah.
around truth, around there's a higher thing, that we are part of, but it's not always that.
Yeah.
It is there, there's something higher than us,
Yeah.
some power. Yeah,
Yeah. And that
we have to trust.
yeah. And it's probably connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, all energy are connected.
Yes. And aren't human beings, right? It was like we're all, like even your neighbor's a human being. It's like all human beings are just energy.
Yeah. It's their beliefs that make who they are.
Right.
How they
Which
act.
is the energy, the impulses.
Yeah.
It's like what I call, so here was another great one is like, what do you define being as? What is being? So we're human beings. What are beings? How do you define being?
like being busy with life,
Hmm.
like the
Okay.
bees, always constantly working on a common project. Or, yeah, they're a part of a society that works for the same goal.
Mhm. So see, pointed. It's like we all are talking about being, but it's like we all hold a different story, understanding of being, and in reality, we don't even really know that we've checked in on being because we're just familiar using it.
Hmm.
Mm.
Anyone else want to share what being is for them?
Being is closer to neutral than doing.
Mm.
Doing is always charged. Being is like being in the flow state.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Not necessarily for me, Hans. For me, I recognize that doing is charged, but being for me flows in and out of charge and through neutral.
Yeah, I said it was way closer to neutral. It isn't neutral.
Ah, thank you.
It's just closer. It's more center.
That's right. I recognize that, yes. Thank you.
Well, but I can be stuck too.
But that's not being.
Oh, really? What? I'm being angry, frustrated.
Yes.
No, you're doing angry.
Okay. Ah, there you go.
It's a choice.
Mm. I'm looking for always, right? The truths, the fundamentals. So what works in both ways? So you look at the way it is and the opposite. So it's like human beings, what I made up, Heinz, was like being is in flow state. It's like, okay, well, human beings, then like everyone is being in a flow state.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Ah, but now there's a definition of flow that we're using. Like, I think we all are, but not in the way that we define a flow state.
No.
But we're all
And everything.
flowing. We're all flowing forward in time. So, like
Mm.
fundamentally, now specifically, people are specifically moving at all different speeds inside that, right?
Yeah.
No. So it's like,
Because we
okay,
have different
being
perspectives.
flow, yes and no. Not how I would work with the word flow though, because it was like, well, if you're not flowing, then you're not a human being. So we would have some neighbors that were not human beings, and we just said that wasn't true.
Well, there's different parts of the river where the river flows faster, somewhere it almost doesn't flow. And then there's the waterfall, but when you get to free fall, there's
Yep.
different points, and no one is the same place on the river. They may be
Yes. So
approximately
you're
but
talking
they
about
would be.
movement. I'm completely accept movement. Movement says you're alive. So anytime there's movement, it's like, oh yeah, there's a human being. There's a human being doing because they're moving, right? They're moving. Their heart's moving. They're alive. They're flowing because they're moving.
And yet there's society who wants to dehumanize the being.
Mm.
And if you look
Mm,
back in history too, if somebody was born with a deformity, or if they had leprosy, or if they had
Mm.
something, that was not what they would consider normal, they were then dehumanized and treated that way too, because they were not viewed as being beings of the same kind. And yet inside the DNA is very human itself.
Mm.
mm.
So it's
But
it's
the
it's a
society,
fine, yeah, it's a fine line, because it gets edited all the time. What
mm.
constitutes the being of the human, or is it the human that's the human being?
Mm. Which one,
But
honey?
society is being judgmental. It's
Mhm.
where we should be be one with our higher self, be one with the truth.
So when you're
Mm.
doing judgment, when you're judging, so you're doing judger, you're being the judger, right? It's like, what are you being?
Mm.
What's your being as a judger? Not what you're
The opposite of
doing.
love.
What are you
Mm.
being? What, Heinz?
The opposite of love.
Yeah. So it's all,
Mm.
see, being is always an emotion.
But judging is also a trigger.
Hmm.
It's a charge.
You bet. Which is energy, yeah, which is part of the
Mhm.
being. Like emotions are only energy. They're impulses, they're charges, they're
Mm.
triggers, they're automatics.
And we need, but they're also the fire, hey Jesse.
Yes, they're the passion. Yes. And then from that passion, we take the movement, we do the action. That's separating the being and doing, like the human being that does.
Mm.
Fascinating.
Mm.
Mm.
We're out on the deep water today. I can feel.
Yeah, pulling apart words, looking at the opposites, right? What are you attached to? Are you attached to wonder? That was a great demonstration of wonder, but a simple word, being and doing. And if you're charged, you might disagree with me. Whose is it? It's your charge, not mine. I'm not doing it to you. You're doing it to you. It's yours. Learn how to deal with it. Get rid of it. Let it go, right, G?
Mm. Yes.
Right,
Yes.
Allison? It's like life
Mm.
happens easier. It's gonna
Mm.
life happens anyway. You might as well enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We might as well experience the joy that there is.
It's available. Why not? Because being frustrated about it doesn't fucking change it one bit.
No, it doesn't.
Nope.
It just keeps it
Exactly.
coming back because you're
Exactly.
frustrated because you haven't learned what you need to learn yet.
Yeah.
So you keep doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results, expecting something different. Number
Yeah.
one, that is
Mm.
insanity.
Yeah.
But everyone walks around saying, "Oh, well, I'm not insane. I'm not insane." Yes, we all are until we see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Then we try to get out of it, and I don't know if we ever really get out of it. I'm not there yet.
Me neither.
I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
think we
once in a
do
while there will
because
be.
then we're gods. If we are, we're gods, and we're dead.
Mm.
We're dead
Physically,
gods.
we're dead gods.
Mm.
So enjoy it till then.
That's a step above money. Money is dead presidents.
Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah, isn't the past full of dead people?
Yeah.
Isn't that what history is?
Mm.
With just a few alive to tell the story.
That word dead is it's got so many facets to it. We presume that the death of something is that it's gone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But their
And
idea often lived on.
yes, there's that. And then also, what was it that came? Sorry, as I'm talking with you guys, I'm walking around the garage, which is now the storage. I'm looking for Bruce for long pants because he doesn't have any long pants. Um, so death is it is a closing. Oh, okay. So we need the word, we need that word because we're in the realm that we're in, where there has to be some kind of separation in order to build what is communal. I mean, so it's a paradox. That's where my mind is going. So, and life is a paradox because there's nothing, everything, and something all the time. All the time. So you can have nothing, everything, and something in any one moment. And if your awareness is wide enough, you can choose.
Mhm.
And for me, I think the word that allows for the greatest breadth of awareness is love and compassion. Compassion in the English language, compassion allows for more than love, I think.
Resurrection. Yeah, I was just thinking about resurrection. You know,
Yes,
sometimes we come back stronger. And
yes.
Mm.
So that's what when you say that, so that brings up what Jesse said earlier about kicking the bird out of the nest and then enjoying the flight that it makes when it comes back. Not all birds come back though, right?
Right.
Some of them leave the nest and that's it, gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then they create their own nest as they mature. So,
Or it didn't learn to fly. Right? There's always the or, right? That's where the everything always and nothing, right? It's like, oh, yeah. It's like here, it's like how we attach to the words, right? We say the word and it's like we're talking about death and it's like, well, what if I said you died every night?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And chi, then it's like, oh, well, then you're resurrected every morning.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, but
Like the
no, I
sun.
call it sleeping. That's sleeping. No, that's sleeping. Well, maybe it's dreaming.
Yes,
See how it's something, nothing, and everything?
yes.
And we get so attached to, no, you're talking about sleeping. I'm right, sleeping. It's sleeping. Well, what's the difference between sleeping and dead?
Mm.
You're breathing. You're
Yes,
breathing.
there's movement. There's movement. That's all we know. That's the difference. That's all we know. That's what is. One's moving, one isn't. Huh. Okay. Now what? Could you still be dreaming if you're not moving? Oh shit, I don't know that one. I think that's when you're a god. So like now we're in a whole nother domain. A god that's trying to get back here to have this shitty experience. Again. Again. Now again, it's choice whether you want to have a shitty experience or not.
Yeah.
It's up to you, no one else. Because
It's all
you
about
chose to
luck.
be here. Like you chose to be here for some reason, so fucking figure that out.
And then, in addition to that, though, for me, is that we all play a part because of the connection.
Yes.
So we all play a part in someone's co-creation of what they choose.
So you have the missing piece to someone's puzzle.
Yes.
Go find them.
Yes. We're all unique, you know. We can all,
We all
there's all of
matter.
us.
We're all here for a
Nobody else
reason.
can do what we do.
That's
Exact.
right.
Yeah,
Well
totally.
said. There's
Yeah.
your voice. There's your voice. No one has the power over you. I heard it again earlier today. There's a part of you that still says, and I understand why. It's like, oh, they have power over me. It's still that hook in you. There's still that blade, that barb, still got it.
Mm.
But it's also important, Jess, in this dimension to be able to recognize
Yep.
where you, as I said, pissing against the wind,
That's right.
you know?
Yep. And as we see it, it goes against our survival. So it's like that's the structure, that's the conflict. And all we can do is be like, oh, there it is again. Huh? Why do I think it's that? I mean, my defaults are so powerful. It's like I use them to look at things like, oh, I know that's my default. Like that's my weakness. That's my pattern. That's my sabotaging identity. Not good enough, right? So it's like, oh, why would I think I'm not good enough there? Huh? And sometimes it's not that. It's like, okay, well, if it's not that, then it's like, well, what part of it am I trying to be worthy in, right? Because it all depends on what my outcome is. Do I have to attach the words to it? So I just run through my list of weaknesses or my sabotaging identities or my insanities. Insanity, that's a good word for it this morning. My insanities, and be like, oh, yeah, oh, there it is. That's the one. Let it go. Sometimes, that doesn't happen either, and I have to sit in it for a while. Like timing's part of this too.
Totally. It's always there because of the dimension that we live in. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking a lot in this part of the conversation about my husband's experience with his teacher that I also experienced in a different way, just that when I heard about our meditation teacher and when he shared, his existence, as it were. So within a week, he was in my dreams. And the what I'm thinking about in particular is that what Bruce experienced with him was evidence that he needed that we are of one mind. So he needed to be able to experience another human being totally in sync. So it was his experience of his teacher when he was with him, and then the evidence that his teacher gave him that he could see right through Bruce's life into past lives. And he didn't share with him, but he said to him, I can see your future lives as well. And my experience of the one mind was that the one dream that I had with Gurji got completely copied in real life. So I had the dream first, and then I had the experience in real life. And it was about 9 months later. It was a long time, So what am I getting at? What I'm getting at is that in our process of co-creating, we expand the one mind. I think that's what I've got more clarity about. So that one mind is always there, but our experience of it needs to be co-created. And in that experience of our co-creating, it's really useful when you can recognize where you are at that point in time and where somebody else is, and whose strength in that moment is going to facilitate more expansion. So if you keep yourself open to other people's strength and just recognizing where theirs are more applicable at that point in time, which you could also interpret as to recognize where your weaknesses are, but it, I prefer to think about it in the other way. That's just me, right? But I still think it's really important. So it doesn't have to be that disconnect in the contrast. There's a connection in the contrast. The contrast brings us the connection.
Yes.
So, Allison, you said there that, take the time to recognize our strengths, but then we also have to recognize our weaknesses, but we really don't. That's a choice. Because we can have it just recognize your strength without the ego involved, right?
Yeah.
And just recognize it and observe it and love it. Because there's another time that you can study your weaknesses. And I use the word study because you don't want to fall into the trap of I am those things.
Exactly. And also it's not just our strength, but the others, because that's how we co-create. It's the recognition of ours and the other, or another person.
Yeah. But we also have to be careful on other people's judgmental assumptions as well. Because then they do become the I ams.
Correct. And when we're little, as children, that's what happens, right?
Yes.
Those judgments become our I ams.
Yeah.
So in this realm, the separation plays a really important role. And I have this bizarre notion, which I'm sure is my ego, but it's the only way my brain can make order, is that you need the separation in this realm before the connection and the collaboration can bring about an expansive experience. Because you can also have, that psychological term of codependence in connection. And that doesn't bring about expansion. That just brings about a merry-go-round.
I think that stems from our false self.
No.
We have a wrong belief, of reality, that something that has been put there by somebody else outside of us. The false belief. It's so easy as a child.
Yes.
To fall into false belief.
Yes. Because
so,
the power
we carry many of us carry that around, the rest of our life.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just get out of
It's an anchor, right? Carrying around this anchor. Not a good kind of anchor, like in a life that's moving, right? It's an anchor that's in the river, that's moving, that's taking you to where your passion and purpose, and you've got the anchor.
Yeah.
So we create what we focus on, right? Like that's why intention is so important.
Yeah.
And so as you guys were going back and forth, like between the weaknesses and the strengths, like looking at them, Alan, it's like what I would ask is like, well, how do we do it now?
That we ask ourselves that question.
That is what is. Like, that's the way to see what is. And what I say is that most people are looking at the mistakes. We do look at the mistakes
Yeah,
of
we do.
others.
Yeah, and
then-
of ourselves too, Jess.
Mhm. Right. And so so then we bring our focus to our weaknesses, right? So it's like, oh, there's
Yeah.
our weaknesses. So we bring in our weaknesses. And so then when we fix our weaknesses, then what are we looking for again?
Yeah.
Another weakness. Oh, that worked. Okay, so let's find another weakness. Well, okay, that worked.
And
Well, let's find another weakness and fix it. Let's find another weakness and fix it. Like, where does it end?
yeah,
And yet some of the biggest mistakes turned out to be great successes. Look at the invention of penicillin.
Yep.
Yeah.
So many of them, man.
yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
as you guys were saying that, then it's like, well, why focus on the weaknesses? Why don't we just say it's like and like others, it's like, let me see your power. I want to know your power, right? Your power, your strengths. I want to discover that because likely most people don't have no idea what theirs are.
Yes,
That's the
totally.
collaboration. So together we help bring them out in each other. We can
Yeah.
either bring out people's powers or strengths, or we can bring out their weaknesses. And today we're just choosing to point out people's weaknesses.
Yes, because the weaknesses are okay, yes, they are mistakes, but using them not as I'm a failure, but I need to do it differently.
Yeah.
And then creating a different path, a different way of doing it. That's where the strength comes from.
It's in our story.
As human
Our strengths
beings,
and our
right?
powers. Yeah.
So Chi, when you say that it's in our story, what came immediately to me was I had an experience as a student in terms of working with children
Yes.
you know, and the training for it, right? So the lecturer says children are a lot more resilient than what we give them credit for.
Yes.
And then she said, what did she say? She said children are a lot more resilient than adults. And I got very angry and I said, no, they're not. They depend on the support of adults to build their resilience.
Yes.
So
But they're more adaptable.
they can be if the parents are, generally speaking. The reason for me, the reason why there is so much destruction in the world as opposed to collaboration and expansion of hearts is because adults carried their woundings for way too long.
Yeah.
And their woundings
Exactly.
were caused by their
Yeah.
parents, right? Or
Yes.
they were fostered, not caused, but there was a collaboration that took place. So why did I'm just trying to think now, so why did I bring that up? It's just that it's that whole thing again about being able to recognize where, at that moment in time, where the power is. And so we are all responsible and I think that's for me, that's the essence. And for me, if we take accountability, we do away with blame.
Yes.
Because if we recognize that we are a part of everything.
Yes.
And
But
accountability doesn't mean to say that you have to be the one to solve it, but you just have to have the
Yeah.
humility to recognize.
Yes, agree. Yes, but I see humanity in a big collective trauma. That we
At
are
the
all
moment, yes.
we all grieving in one way or another. Whether we are
Yeah.
choose to be angry or isolate ourselves or being depressed or whatever. We're grieving in it's a grieving in disguise.
Yes.
It's a crying for help.
It's a beautiful way of putting it.
So yeah, we have to be better listener, to recognize each other's pain.
Exactly.
Yes, but because we are there's done so much to us, and through generations, and each of us has been through a lot of shit. So yeah, and then yeah, so we are that's why that's why we have to share our story, and learn from each other's story and help each other out. Be active listener, not judging. Yeah. So it's mentally tough place to be at the moment, and for a lot of people, yeah. But there is a way out. It's by working with ourselves, with each other.
My husband's daughter-in-law had a saying with her kids when they were little, and when there was that point of frustration and tears, you can still hear her voice, and she would say, "There's always a way, and we'll find it. That's all we have to do is to find the way."
It's definitely tough, but this group has made it a lot more easy for me.
I agree. For me as well, most definitely. I have experienced an expansion.
Yes.
That has brought so much joy and value, and there's another word I'm looking for in my experience of it, The word will come in time, I'm sure. I can't find it right now.
Yeah, I'm surprising myself how much I opened up now and then speaking out, and it's just like now I can freely share my energy without any attachment.
That's the difference.
And thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Chi. It's like without it, I'd be alone. And I know where that ended up last time, so. Well, thank you all. What a special birthday. Thank you. I had fun.
Well, I hope the rest of your day is just as inspiring and invigorating.
Thank you, Annette.
Have a great day, Jesse.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Love you all.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.